All right, hello. Welcome into the Cipher. We will be having our conversations we usually do, getting started with our drink, but we have a guest tonight that I want to make sure to. All right, hello. Hold on. Welcome. Maybe I should have muted YouTube. All right, so we're live. We know that much. But no,
someone's watching. Someone's watching.
Exactly right. We have one viewer, and he's the host. But Rick Kent is a longtime friend of mine now. I'm not even sure how many years now. It's got to be like 15 years, I'm thinking.
I think so.
Something in that vicinity. And I will let you tell about yourself, but I will say that the Democracy How name that you'll see around some of what we're going to be talking about tonight, that's something that we started together and was sparked by the first election of our current president. So we, did a live show where we raised money that we gave to an organization that helps women who are getting out of abusive relationships and sort of has a place for them to live with their kids while they're sorting things out. And that was amazing. And then we've just, kept in touch about all the things. But around this, we share our memes and we have our Facebook page and we have our laughs.
Yep.
And, try to do what we can to get the message out there that, like, we're not cool with this and we're not going to start being cool with it either. We're going to keep saying how not cool we are with it. So anyway, I don't want to overdo it, but I wanted folks to have some context. Rick, you can say hello to the folks.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that intro. I'm super excited to be on with you guys. I'm a documentary filmmaker, worked in TV for many years. These days we do a lot of like branded content stuff, so it's some corporate things, but then we're also really lucky to work with foundations and arts organizations in LA. So we do get a chance to balance out the things that, the things you do for money and the things that make you feel, like you're doing something good.
Right.
I think the first time I remember being aware of you, Orlando, our kids went to school. I hope it's okay to say our kids went to school together. And it was some gathering of all the families, like one of those school get together things, and Orlando takes the mic. And I was just like, wow, brave. First, I was just like, well, brave dad emceeing like this school event. And then he just gets up and starts crushing, like telling jokes and like just working the crowd. I was like, who is this dude?
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. I would get that call though. That's true. I would get that call like, hey, we're doing this thing. Can you? All right. So yeah,
as you should. Like I was like, who's the pro? Who'd they bring? Who's the ringer they brought in here?
It is, yeah. It's been yeah. I want to get back to that, by the way. We lost Maisha there for a second, but I want to get back to getting on. I was just having this conversation. Not that I'm like, I'm going to pursue a stand-up career, but that I miss that, like, just grabbing the mic and like, here we go. Here we go.
It definitely let me know that, like, you got the skills, and I was able to see you perform like several times after that, and just saw like what a talent you are.
Thanks,
and I think in terms of our collaboration through Democracy How and the other stuff, I've noticed that you and I we have like a very compatible set of skills,
Right.
We both have like producer brains, but then you also are so comfortable in front of people, and I'm way more comfortable in the behind the scenes. Exactly. I also think we have like a similar boiling point, because I feel like the origin of Democracy How and our latest, project are both because, you reached out and were just like, man, I feel like I got to do something about this. And I'm just like, I know exactly what we need to do about this. And granted, exactly, maybe not. We figure it out together, but
I think you're right that I think, we both tend to go, well, we both said openly, actually both times, it may be 5 people, right? Like we don't know what we're going to get, but we feel like we can't just sit here while this is going on. And actually that's to the topic, Mojo's coming back in. But I feel like that is to the topic, because we have to be able, to me, when you sit with that feeling, I think that's the most unhealthy piece.
Yeah.
Right? That like, oh, I can't, like, just that powerlessness. And you're never absolutely powerless unless if only you can have a different mindset, right? Whether you talk about Mandela or you're talking about, whoever people who've been in prison or captured or whatever, and then they tell you like, oh, well, I was taking care of, my guy, so I could, like, whatever it takes. I think some kind of action usually, or some sort of movement usually helps you not feel totally powerless, which I think was easy to feel either time. I still remember the 2016 gutted feeling.
Absolutely. I mean, it was an interesting thing to put on a show in that context, and we did it right on inauguration day, and then we did one 100 days in.
That's right.
It's a weird thing to do. Yeah. It's a weird thing to kick off a comedy show. And granted, there was a little bit more to it than just like comedy, but it's a weird thing to start off an evening like that with everyone feeling gutted, like you're saying. And then hopefully by the end of the evening, or, you know, like by the end of the experience, everyone's a little bit uplifted and kind of, I mean, I think what you're saying is like people stepping out and doing their own thing. That's kind of what we hope to inspire. And I still run into people who are like, what you guys were doing was so right on, because they felt like, hey, just by being there, they were connecting that.
Right.
And then when they left, they felt like, oh, now I need to look around for what I can do, you know?
Yeah. And it's, you know, I've coached your son. So, you know, for me, my big, with the kids, even on teams, I'm like, if everybody does something, nobody has to do everything.
Yeah.
I'll hit that note. So it feels like a grown up national version of that, where it's like, hey, maybe you're great at the marches. Like, you should go do that.
Yeah.
I was telling Maisha the other day, and I'm gonna come back to you, Mo, just so we get this drink going. We kept it moving when the technology.
Oh no, you're good. We're good. That's how we roll. Yes.
But I knew it would be a really several times Daphne's been to marches and so on, and especially the No King stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is a terrible idea for me to do. I was like, truly, that is an awful idea, because they want to start something.
Right.
And the smart thing to do, I understand, is not give in to that.
Yeah.
But if somebody grabs me,
I
don't want to be the reason we have martial law, is what I'm saying. So I think I'm going to start stay home. You know, and I think it's important to know that stuff about yourself. Like you say, for me, I'm like, hey, you know what I can do? Like, I can put on a show, like, you know, I can do a thing.
Exactly.
And I think, people get that part.
I think as we're seeing in graphic fashion, you know, peaceful protest and peaceful resistance is the hardest thing, you know? And I do think, you know, I mean, as we all know, like, it's tough to get out of the house, no matter how fired up you are sometimes. And so for the people who like just going out and walking down the street along with everybody who feels the same way, like, if that's the right thing, then that's the right thing. But if you have some other avenue, no matter what it is, you know, writing a song, writing a poem, talking to your friends, like posting on social media about how you're feeling. I mean, it's every little bit of those things that moves the dial, you know? And I don't think any one of them alone changes anybody's opinion, but I do think the collective, you know, when enough people see enough other people, and hopefully some that they already know and trust, saying like, think about this. I mean, think about it. You know, I think that sways people.
Yeah, I think you're right. Want to welcome and we haven't seen you in a while, so I am absolutely excited that you're here. Want to acknowledge you. See that you said hi there in the comments. I'll start us down the road. Obviously, Maisha have some issues with the tech. The first thing that we talked about, because we sort of were like, okay, how do we want to frame this? And now we made everybody's promise that we're gonna have this, you know, very specific black thing. So we were like, okay, how do we want to articulate this? Sure. And the first thing that we talked about, like, all right, so what's the starting point? Like, what's going on? What's the situation? And for that one, we use the phrase, it ain't where you from, it's where you at. And that's a phrase I've known like since I was a little kid. But it seems to me that I feel like we've been in unprecedented times for like 12 years or maybe 11. But you know what I mean? Like, it just feels like,
and it is. Yeah.
Whew. And so for me, some of it was also, and how I got to like, hey, you know, I have this idea, let's do a show. Or it was sort of, okay, well, we're here now. Like, when that guy came down that escalator, I was like, this is going to be truly a nightmare.
Yeah.
But I thought the process was going to be a nightmare. I really didn't think he could win the Republican nomination,
Nobody did.
I think, which was part of how it all went down, right? Like, part of us was just like, oh yeah, well, at some point this will sort of like sort itself out. And then it is very much not. not sort of stuff. I mean, to say the least,
it continues to get worse.
I'm like, what are we doing?
Enabled. I mean, as the worst intentions of both the administration and the people who surround it are enabled over and over again. I mean, we are in real danger. I think the things the rights that we have just taken for granted for so long, some of us, most of us, a lot of us, those are being threatened in a very real way.
And it seems like very consciously, like it doesn't feel like a thing is being done, and we'll get into what we do about it part. But this is actually the starting point, is what we're talking about, right? It's like it's part of why in this moment I had an even different level of urgency. It didn't feel like, oh, these are bumbling people who are doing these things that are going to have these catastrophic, terrible outcomes. It was like, oh no, they showed up to do terrible things. I'm like, whoa. Like, and that was, part of it. We'll show the video in a sec, but that was part of why, when I wrote the song, I was messing around trying to figure it out, and we'll tell that story in a second. Part of what got me to writing it down was like, I gotta know that I tried. I've been that person in a lot of situations, like even when it looks like it's going to be a big conflict. Often I'm the person who will make the last ditch. Let's not do this, guys. Do we have to do this? And that's kind of how it feels right for me right now. Like I'm like, unless something changes dramatically quite soon, I am like, this is, so that was part of the impetus of like, maybe I could just shock the system. Maybe, And in some ways I think we have, well, we'll talk about the reaction to it in a minute, because I've gotten a lot of great reactions to it.
Well, I also don't think, for me, it's never been quite so much about, I mean, if you're a hardcore Trumper or MAGA and like you are absolutely drinking all that Kool-Aid, like, I don't know what I can do to change your mind or influence your world opinion, but I do think that like, and we talked about this when we were, creating the latest thing, there are a lot of people out there who are very decent, intelligent people who have just been, on that team,
Right.
And I think that they've been able to, they all have their different breaking points where they kind of realize like, all right, this is enough. And I think hopefully for more people than ever, this is way, way more than enough. I think we're at that point.
I think you're right.
And I do think it's time. Things, we talked about like the messaging of the video and everything as well. And I think we both agreed, like it is, as much as it's a bit of an in-your-face take on the topic, it really is meant to like bring people together,
Yeah, no, truly, genuinely. And that was part of what I was like, very, I was paranoid about it, because I was like, I want to have fun. Yeah. But I'm not mocking. Like, I really am saying, like, hey, dude, think about this for a second. Like, leave me out of it. Yeah. I'm just saying, do you see what's happening here? So anyway, there's not so much winning. There's not so much winning for anybody right now. That's my thing. I'm like, what is awesome about this? So anyway, but we will talk about that more. But I want to go ahead and share the video, and then we can take it from there. So folks who have or haven't seen it, but certainly for those who haven't seen it, I'm going to share our video for DJTISFNU. And we'll tell a little bit about the story of how that came to be. But as you can hear, it came from a real place of gotta do something. So that was our starting point. Here we go. All right. Yeah, back. It's you. I hope you can hear me, because I got a message. Donald Trump is fucking you.
Big motherfuckers, I know you hate me. Don't let hating me be all you can be. Don't let hating me be all you can see. Cause Donald fucking you while you fucking with me. Big motherfuckers, I know you hate me. Don't let hating me be all you can be. Don't let hating me be all you can see. Cause Donald fucking you while you fucking with me. I ain't gonna hold. Let me make this brief. I got some unredacted news about this PDF. You offer him your loyalty, you offer you relief, and you get nothing in exchange. You got hustled by a thief. Your
loyal to a fault. His loyalty is faulty. We disagree on seasoning, that's why I'm fucking salty. Donald taking money, van snatching land, and you so busy hating me, no need to pry it from your hand. Promises of whiteness, y'all planning, clapping. 1865, it ain't gonna happen. He fucking you. We've heard it all before, you ain't getting bored. For sure, he's showing you the door. Hard to watch the setup, my attempt to warn. Regret this rude awakening, ringing the alarm. But this shit's so sweet when you do my family harm that your fucking family good, giving up the family farm.
Mega motherfuckers, I know you hate me. Don't let hating me be all you can be. Don't let hating me be all you can see. Cause Donald fucking you while you fucking with me. Yeah. Mega motherfuckers, I know you hate me. Don't let hating me be all you can be. Don't let hating me be all you can see. Cause Donald fucking you while you fucking with me. DJTISFNU, DJTISFNU, DJTISFNU. You and me and him and them and all of them. Yeah. DJTISFNU, DJTISFNU, DJTISFNU. You and me and him and them and all of them. Yeah. Mega motherfuckers, I know you hate me. Don't let hating me be all you can see. Don't let hating me be all you can see. Cause I'm fucking you while you fucking with me.
Still a banger.
I love it.
Indeed.
I love it. And I thank you, Ed, for saying that the video is fire. I really appreciate that. We're going to talk a little bit about the process. I don't want to step too much on.
No, that's what I want to know about the process.
But I'll take a little step to the next one, which is the point, what we call the point. But for us, we're saying, it was all a dream. I'm going to quote a little Biggie. Any chance I get, I'm going to quote a little Biggie. So there you have it. But for me, I was just messing around in my office. It was not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before. And I'm just messing around in GarageBand. And I'm not even working on this at all. It's not a thing yet. And I just had the phrase, I thought it as a thought was, he fucking with them when I fucking with me. Like, I really had that thought. Like, just, that's it. Like, it was as simple. It was me just looking at
who is them and who is me.
Right. So, to me, MAGA has been so colossally taken by Trump. Like, in any way, right, exactly, and Brooklyn always, but yeah, in any way, in all the ways, like, he's taking their money, or you hear about, he had some email where, like, if you didn't click something, you were on the hook for like $2,000 a month or something, like something insane. But I was like,
he's fleecing his own people.
I'm like, truly, and I'm just like, how much of this are you willing to take?
Yeah.
To like feel like you got one from me, or leave me out of it. This is gonna end poorly for you. So anyway, I had that thought, and I went into I went into GarageBand, and my thought was to work on like a satirical piece. And so what I sent you, and I'll describe it quickly. If we have time later, we'll come back to it. But it was heavy on the banjo, and rhythmically, I was laughing because I want to ask you how you got there in a second. But rhythmically, it was very different than what you sent back. And I don't want to say what you sent back yet, which was this, but like I want to know how you got there. But it was gonna be much more of a like. Almost you could see the jugs and us being like, can you hear us now? Kind of a vibe. But once you sent this back, I remember thinking like, oh, we're doing this now.
Yeah.
So you shifted the quote dream because it became a different thing. It became kind of a serious song, like not a serious song in terms of like it is serious, but a serious song in terms of like, this isn't just goofing around. Like this is a legit, like,
right.
You bobbing, the minute you hear it, I told you,
It's
I'm getting
people
dressed,
moving,
like dancing. When you sent it, I'm like, I gotta get dressed. I gotta get out of here. I'm like dancing in my house. So you get this thing from me. It's banjo heavy. It's a reference track, so like I'm fumbling on lyrics and whatever. But just to give you guys an idea of what I was doing and asking for help, which we'll get to that too later. But yeah, what was your reaction when you heard it, and then? What can you tell us about the process of like what made you think like, oh, maybe there's a different way to do this?
Yeah. So, I mean, first of all, leading up to that, it had just been like such a frustrating week. And I know everybody was feeling that. Everybody who's paying attention. And it was interesting because I take in like way too much news to begin with. I know that we've talked about that a lot.
I know.
And there was a moment where my wife like talked to me probably like the day before you sent that track, and she was like, "What's going on? Are you okay?" And I'm like, I'm really not. I'm really not feeling okay about like what is happening, you know. And it feels distant, but at the same time, you can't help but feel it, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And you know, I mean, talking about that boiling point thing that we were talking about earlier, you sent, I think, like in quick succession, you sent the lyrics. And then you sent the track,
I sent the lyrics first. Yeah, I sent the lyrics
first. I was just reading the lyrics, and I was like, "This is good. Like, I really like what he's saying here. I like and the hook. You know, I mean, even just the words of the hook are so undeniable."
Cool.
And then you sent the track. I was like, "Okay, this is good. Like, I see where he's going with this."
Right.
And I've been playing around with a lot of the AI music and video generators for the last few years, and I kind of knew. I was like, "Well, I can see how we could just run this through." And then maybe with a little doctoring afterwards, like really make something out of it.
Right.
And it was, I mean, those were like the first tracks that I sent you. I think I sent you like 3 or 4 versions.
3, yeah.
And those were pretty like raw, like right out of the generator. But one of them was like had the same chorus and like a lot of the same elements that are in the final. And it was, you know, there were things that we liked about all of them, but you guys just immediately gravitated to that one. And it, you know, I mean, it's undeniable. It's just like the message and the music like really come together in it, you know.
Because it works out because we're always working together. Maisha is you know, my ace. So I had already shown her the first one, and I don't remember the exact text I sent you, Maisha, but it was something in the vicinity of something's happening. I'll tell you later.
Yes. The streams of thought. Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm curious just because you actually you had insight from before, then I sent it, then we're doing this other thing. And I'm curious what your thoughts were along the way in terms of this being how we were choosing to fight the power in this exact moment.
I mean, I liked the message to begin with, and I definitely saw like the musical potential for it. But it's also, I mean, it's one of those things of working with AI where, you know, you hear that demo track and, you know, like in the hands of a very gifted producer in a month, this could be amazing.
Well, right.
Like, or we can just run it through a couple processes and just see what we come up with.
And
we got lucky, and then we worked it from there. So, I mean, we added your vocals back in and, you know, really kind of finessed it into what it is now. And we're working on the longer version as well. I mean, I think, you know, it felt like a very like synchronous kind of moment, very, you know, both emotionally and in terms of what I felt like I needed to express, and that you had already just like kind of put that into words, you know. I think from there on, it's like, I mean, that's, I think how collaboration happens, right? Like you find that synchronous moment and then you just run with it. And I mean, the crazy thing, we both, I think, talked about this while we were doing it. The crazy thing about working with AI is like, it's happening so fast. I mean, that from like demo track to finished video was a week. You know, that's it. I mean, like there were times when my head was spinning just because I was getting tracks from you and I was like mixing them in, and then I was putting in new video and trying out. And you know, for every element that's in that video, there were 25 other ideas that we just didn't pull together or didn't have time for. You know, so like the iteration that we went through and the sort of collaboration of just like throwing in ideas and seeing what works, like it was really inspiring to begin with. I mean, it feels, I mean, and that, I think speaking to the theme is like, it felt like we were doing something, you know, it felt like, and we've all agreed, like if 5 people see this, that's totally fine. We just need to say it, you know?
Right. And that's not always, well, I'll speak for myself. That is certainly not always easy for me. And I've, you know, I've read some Buddhist stuff, so it's not like I'm unfamiliar, but to let go of, we're going to do this and it's going to go viral, or we're going to do this and it's going to mean X. And it's just like, no, it's our job to just do it. Now, Mojo, I did want to ask you, because again, you had a very specific, you really got to see all of it. Like from the time I was like, oh, I was messing with this thing. Yeah, I'm just curious what you thought along the way.
I mean,
in terms of
you've known me for a while, so my thoughts are all up in the details. So I know you already said it, but what happened that it became your thought? Like they messing with us and they messing with them, like until, you know what, I got to send this to Rick. Like what happened? What happened in between that? You know what I mean? Because we think about stuff 500 times a day. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I really what it was I started feeling like it was good. The band, and if we have time, I'll play the banjo version like before we go. But like, I started out with this sort of like fleeting idea, and then I start like playing around with like, oh, this could be the hook. And I start putting this thing together. I got banjo and I got 808 and I got whatever, and I'm like, this actually sounds all right. Like now I'm like, tweaking and trying to find some stuff. And I felt, what I honestly felt was, I want to put this, obviously I want to put the whole, when I started to work on it, I was like, oh, this would be great. I'll put it on my Substack. And I wanted to do that, but it sort of felt like it was getting better than that. Like, that's a weird way to put it, but you know what I mean? It felt like, no. You should be like turning this into what.
And that's how I feel after the process. That's for sure how I feel now. So it's so interesting that you felt that way from jump.
I felt that, but even in the context of that, and that's why I was saying in terms of it was all a dream element of it. When I reached out, when our other friend Steve was also very much a part of this whole conversation, so we were all putting all our heads together. And when I reached out, it was truly just, hey guys, I'm working on this song. It should have a video. Like, that was it. It was like, this should have a video.
If I could say, you were a little sheepish about it too. You're like, I don't even know. Like, what do you guys think? And I mean, I'll say like the first iteration, which you improved and built on, but even just the words, I was like, this is good.
And then, right, because I'm reading this all over text. Like, it wasn't even I'm working on this. It was just like, what you think? And I'm like, what? I don't even. It was like so random. Like,
I mean, you're in a flow state, man. It was like it felt. It was one of those things where it felt done from the get go, and then it just got better.
Right? Like we were like, okay. What if this? What if that? So that definitely makes
finding
sense.
your mojo or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
How about that? It's funny you say that, because I said that. Where were we in the process? Anyway, somewhere around midweek, I texted these guys, "This is all I really want."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I texted them and I was like, this is all I want in life. Like, I want to like make cool stuff with my friends. That's what I came here for. Like, all the other stuff of Hollywood, I was like, I didn't know we signed up for all of this. I came out here because I thought, hey, I'll make cool stuff with my friends. And this was very much that. And open ideas, throwing ideas in, going, oh, wait, that's interesting. What if we combine that with this? Even a few things that Steve tossed into the mix that rhyme wise, and I was like, well, that's not going to flow from me, but it's a really good idea, and I like the rhyme scheme. What about this? And I sent that back, and he's like, yeah, cool. So there was the energy was constantly there. I'm gonna take us to the mojo piece because we and I'm gonna look at the phrase for a second to make sure that's the one. Do you? Very appropriate. So it felt very, I will say this project felt very me, like from the start. I was like, the idea that like, I have this idea and we're just going to go for it.
Yeah.
It's kind of audacious. Like, I even had one rhyme that I was like, you don't need that in the song, but I was like, at one point I was going to say something like like my audacity, your favorite rapper's favorite rapper never heard of me. Like, what are you doing, sir? You're 53 years old, right? But like, but it felt like, this is what we should be doing, and that felt good too. Like our whole, like I felt like we were just being we were just being how we naturally were and collaborating. And it was working in that way.
Well, it's a very like yes and group, that we have there, and it's. I mean, we've known each other for a long time, so that I think that helps.
Right.
But there was never a moment where anybody was like, not that. I mean, it was very much like, if anything, it was like, help me understand that. And there were the kiss in the middle of the video. You and I had a lot of back and forth about that. And the thing was, there were moments where like, there were, you were insistent on like the vocals being a certain way. And there were some of the visuals that you were questioning. And I was like, nah, I think we need to do this. It was never a like, no way, man. It was always just like, all right, if that's what it needs to be, man, let's do it.
You're strong, right? Yeah. Which, as we both know, not every working environment is like that.
Right. But you're very lucky if you have one like that.
And Mojo, you one of the things that I think I've thought about with you, as I was bringing stuff back, because you have no idea. Like, I'm not even sure. I mean, you've heard of these guys because I was like, oh, we had poker night or whatever. But like, suddenly we've gone from like, oh, I'm going to do this thing for Substack to like, oh, we're working and you know. I thought it was cool too on your side of things that the combination was very that from your side of it was like, well, let's see. Like, you were very open, like, even though it was in many ways, certainly the level to which we took it was a departure from anything to this point. You were also yes-anding on the other side of things. So it was easy for me to kind of keep it all going because no one was going, wait a minute, we need this and we have to have that. Yeah.
The flow was right. Yep.
Yeah, really.
I'm curious, Mojo, like, was there a moment where you're like, what are these crazy people doing? Like, did he send you anything where you're like, what?
But I think it's, and I haven't known him nearly as long as you have, so I don't think so. But before this, there was a little precursor. You've been writing stuff the last like month or so. I feel like you've been randomly writing a few lyrics and feeling like you're kind of going down that road. So this wasn't too like off. That's
a good point.
Yeah. Now, you were on fire throughout the process, man. I mean, I feel like you could have done 20 verses.
You know what? It's really interesting that you say that, and then that we're talking about it in this "do you" section of it. And I do think it's important for people, like, do the version of fighting the power that is right for you.
Yeah.
Right. Like, if you're not the person to go down and do a sit-in at the senator's office, you're gonna like don't do that. Don't find something else to do. There's plenty to be done. But I felt on fire. Like, I felt like, like ideas were coming to me so fast about the video. Where maybe we do with it, and then, like, it felt like like that's why I texted you guys, because it was me that was me saying like, here it is. Like, this is the space I want to be in. I've described that. People talk about the moment of Zen, but because of how we do our work. Everything you do gets a where and a when as you're strategizing, so that you are aware of like where you should be, which is, I now know my ADHD is probably, I was like, that's a really good idea. That's super important. But I came with the phrase, the moment of when. And so it's like, not just that it's a moment of Zen, but it's also like, in that moment of Zen, you are doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're doing your thing.
That part.
And that felt like the moment of when for me. The whole process has. And as you know, I'm like starting to like jot down some of the song ideas, and now I'm like work up, because that was really the experience of it on my end. Was like,
I mean, why stop? I mean, I think that's the other side of it too. I mean, not just for this, but for anybody who's thinking about like, what can I do and how can I do it, is like the gratification of having done it, no matter how big or small it is. Like, you come out the other side and you have done something, you know, and that will inevitably lead to other things. Like, you know, for you, it may lead to an album's worth of music, you know, or who knows, you know. I mean, that's the thing, is like, it starts with one step and then you just keep going, you know. And, you know, like, if it feels right, it feels right. You know, you're going to run with it.
No, that's a great point too, that, you know, it can lead to the next thing. And sometimes, I know I'm not alone in this, but I'll speak for myself and say that I can get caught up in, oh, but what if that, and what if that? And I'm like 5 steps into the process, worrying about like, oh, that's going to be an impediment. Like, you know, you have no idea. So the taking action thing is big. We've talked about it some, but I did want to get to what we're calling who you with. Basically, who's in your crew. And as I've shared with both of you, like, the yes and of it was really important. But I want to stress to anyone who's getting to see this, how important it is to identify community. And it can function in different ways. Sometimes you can be a part of a community. Like, I've been part of writers groups where we weren't writing anything together, but we were each writing, and we were each supporting each other in the writing. Sometimes just to like make sure everybody wrote, sometimes to actually evaluate each other's work. But I think we're in a time, more generally, I think Americans can like over index on rugged individualism. Let's put it that way. But I think we're particularly in a time where people are feeling fearful. And when we feel fearful, we tend to do this. And I think it's really important to be thinking about community. And I have to say this. I didn't know. I like Minneapolis. I've been to Minneapolis. There's the whole Minnesota Nice thing, blah, blah, blah. I didn't know they had that in. I did not know that. There was nothing I experienced in that city that told me if they mess with them, they gonna be sorry, right? Yeah. But the power of it was not that there was. Sorry about that. This camera's going nuts. But the power, to me, the power of it wasn't any one person or one group or one slogan. It was just that many people in a city of that size were like, we will go out in the below freezing cold to say what we have to say as a community. Yeah. And that's undeniable. Like even for the people who are rooting for this. Yeah. You've got to think like, well, however we're going to achieve it, it's not just going to be like bullying Minneapolis. Like that, apparently that is not our path to victory. I thought it was just huge. And encouraging for the rest of the country, I would. Absolutely. Right? Because like, we have at least as many people as Minneapolis. Yeah. Seems like they're doing pretty well. So I think it really sort of changed for me, they helped change. Maybe that was it. Maybe it was feeling like this. And then when they pushed back, it felt a little bit like, yeah, we have to take this. Let's go. Or something like that. But I was very impressed that they showed up in those numbers. I really got choked up watching the videos of just a flood of humans. And how cold it was out there.
Well, I think you hit it right on the head there in saying that like it does exist within all of us. Right. There is every community that's out there that is feeling that this is not right. Like I think they have the same power and the same potential. Yeah. And talking about the community aspect that you kind of led off with, I mean, as I've gotten older, I think I've realized that our most valuable commodities are our time and our attention. Yeah. Yes. And if you are willing to give those and fully invest, I mean, show up, but then also really show up. I mean, really, and that can just be taking the time to listen to where other people are at. That can be sharing your own thoughts, but don't show up and then be on your phone or whatever. There's a million ways to kind of physically be there and not be right. At the same time, like often you don't, like we're doing right now, you don't have to physically be in the same room in order to share that level of attention with each other.
It's sorry, go ahead.
No, I just think that if you think about things in those terms, then it becomes easier to say like, well, yeah, I mean, I care about this enough to give it my time and my attention. Mm-hmm.
You use a word there, and actually, I don't know I don't think we have discussed this part, Maisha, or Mojo. So I would be very curious to get your take on this. But I've been playing with this idea. We talk about paying attention, right? Like we take, whether it's in class or we say to our kids or whatever, like, what are you paying attention to? And and it's funny that you use this word. You use the word invest. And I haven't heard anybody use that word that way, but I've been starting to think like, I think that's a healthier way to think about it. Like, because you can pay attention to anything, right? You can like go out on the brain and just pay attention to traffic. Like, all right. What? Yeah. Like what? Okay, great. That's what you just did. Fantastic. Congrats. Yeah. Or maybe you really want to. Maybe that does serve you. But there's something about saying where will I invest attention? Because when you invest, you're now expecting something to come of that. You may not think it's coming to you, but you expect like something's going to come of this expenditure of my attention. I think I think that's as important as ever because there's so much to do. And if you just sort of like, he put out a racist truth this morning. I think we'll fizzle. I just think it's just too much chaos. But I think if everybody picks like those people have been in Minneapolis, I don't know what they're doing today, but they've done their part for a moment. You know what I mean? And then So anyway, I just think that idea of investing your attention is huge.
Well, and I think that all of us together is what it takes. Everybody doing their tiny little bit. I mean, Steve Bannon is famous for having said, as when Trump took office the first time, is we're going to flood the zone with shit, and they've just done that ever since.
They really have,
yeah.
No, they really have,
And the only way to create the dam against all the shit is for all of us to be carrying, one boulder or one rock or one pebble and putting it in the way of that deluge in order to, turn the tide. I mean, that's what we have to do. I mean, and it is, I mean, believe me, I feel that overwhelming, like, what difference could I possibly make all the time? And yet, just doing these little things, I mean, I think every little bit, I mean, if you are able to influence the outlook of a single person, you have done something remarkable.
It's huge. Yeah. Yeah. And in this instance, and I didn't come to you, Maisha, so I'm sorry, but I will come back in a second. But in this instance, it may be me. Like, I was like, I was like, because we've gotten some attention with it, but we're obviously you always want to try to like how many people can we reach, what kind of impact can we have? But we had a huge impact on me. Like, I feel like I am feeling now like, yeah, I'm a pretty creative guy. How else can I be a problem for these people?
I mean, which is not at all to be discounted, right? I mean, like, you feel empowered in order to do your part, and that, what could be better than that?
And if it gets somebody else off the couch, or get somebody else to go, you know what, I'm tossing this cap in the garbage already. It's enough. It's enough with this guy.
Dancing before they get in the shower.
That's right. That's right.
If nothing else.
Right. So, but Maisha, part of it is that you had said to me that for you wanted to just become more informed. That was sort of one of your things going into all this, as we talked about what everyone can do. So I'm curious where you are with that.
Yeah, that's why this conversation is so timely to me, the way it just progressed from us having that conversation, I think, on the last Align Your Mojo. It's just like, how are we feeling, first of all? What do we do with how we're feeling? And how do we show up and not be crazy with the crazy, right? So after that thought, this conversation to me is just so right on time, because you're right. Maybe I'll speak for myself, not going to show up at the march, right? Maybe I'm not going to be holding up the signs in 0 degree weather, but I still want to be informed. I still want to make the community so that we're doing something and we are still contributing, and I'm not just crying on the couch, right?
Right.
So I think it's like it is. Who are you? Not only who you with, but who are you? And then where do I want to be? Because how can I be where I need to be unless I figure out who I am in the struggle, in the fight, in the crazy? So that's why I'm shaking my head a lot over here to what y'all saying. On time.
No, I'm with you. And that piece of who are you, I know we've hit it a few times, but I could not believe in that piece more. It's really served me personally, even on decisions. Because well, Rick, I'll let you speak for yourself, but I will say that there were definitely some points in that week between I have an idea and us sending out a video full of AI of not flattering image of Donald Trump, and I was like, am I inviting a lunatic to my house right now? Is that what I'm doing?
Yeah.
am I basically? And I really did. I sat with it and I thought, you know what? I hope not. I mean, I'm not crazy over here, but part of me also felt like this is the courage part. Like, courage is on my list.
Yeah.
And I was like, you would only not be doing it because you're scared. There's no other. Yeah. It's not like, I'm gonna lose my job or whatever else would have been. It was truly only that I was like, oh God, this could be a mess.
We did talk about this. I mean, it's making good trouble, right? I mean, that's what we're all trying to do.
Right. That's exactly right.
And we talked about this a bit during the process. Like, whenever I managed to get something to work, that then I saw it and I'm just like, oh, is this too far? I mean, I might be a little uncomfortable with it,
Right.
That's when I also thought, like, then we're doing it right. Then this is the thing. I mean, like it or not, we're in an attention economy, and sometimes you got to go. I mean, that's why I think the music, there's a couple of ways to interpret the music. And one, you hear MAGA motherfuckers and you're immediately like, fuck this guy,
Right. Sure.
The other is then it gets your attention and then you listen to what's actually being said.
That was the hope. Right.
And then you're like, oh, he's not actually like calling, the focus is not calling me a motherfucker. The focus is getting my attention to say, like, look at what's happening.
Whoa. Yeah. Are you guys seeing this? Right.
And that's why, I mean, and we discussed that as well. I was like, I know that both of us came into it with the, like, we're not here to like diss people who are being taken advantage of.
Yeah.
Or to make fun of people who have made a bad decision. I mean, it's never too late to make a good decision. Like that just underlines this whole thing where it's like, you can change your mind right now,
Yeah.
And if this is something that like just wakes you up just a little bit or grabs your attention, then that is what we were going for.
One of the words on my list is loving. And although I think, as you point out, you hear the beginning of the song, it doesn't. It sounds like a love song. This guy wrote a love song. No, but I.
That's the remix. The remix
exactly,
is coming.
Right? Exactly. But I really did write it from a place of love. Like I was like, this is gonna end poorly for you. I really don't want it.
Right.
Like I'm like all of the other jokes aside or whatever. I was like, they're really going to do this to you again. They've been doing this to you for centuries, and you're going to let them do it to you again. I mean, I really meant that part. And I know. I hope it came through that I really meant that part.
Well, I think I told you when we first started talking about it, I was like, this is a classic class warfare anthem.
That's a good point.
Where somebody else who, I don't want to compare the struggle of different groups of people by any means, but when someone else who is also struggling reaches out to you and tries to say, hey, you may think that like my struggle and your struggle pit us against each other. That is not true. And it's been the goal of, I'm not going to say the government, but I mean, the government is a part of it, but like it's been the goal of an upper class to get the people divided who are below them so that they keep fighting with each other and don't realize that together they can take over, and that is my hope, is that like this and other messages and other things that you're going to do are going to let people know like we are stronger together and we do all need to work together.
And we're in the part of our community, right? So very, very much so. Who you with? And I think like
exactly
we're stronger together, but I also and I think there's so much to be gained by even thinking that part through, like in a way, because as I'm sure you could get, jotting stuff down all day, and there were quite a number of lines that I was like, well, that's not that's probably
gonna get upset.
That's probably not gonna land great, right? But it was kind of cool actually as an exercise, because it really made me go like, no, it's not how clever can I be, or can I get somebody on my side to say, oh, it's a sick burn, but like how would I actually try to, one, get it and be empathetic, which I know is a loaded word, but it's a word that means something to me, and then to be able to say it to them, like to really think like, how could you hear me? Right, like, because if I show up and just start reading from Cornell West, you know what I mean, like it's not like it's just not gonna work. Like how would I reach you? If I knew this is going to be the biggest thing that ever happened, what would I say? And I think, and Andrew's commented, good trouble. And Tyler, we see you there too. Thank you for being here. But yeah, I think it's...
Well, one thing, I'll give you a little kudos for a second here, because I'm always impressed. I mean, I know you're a deep thinker and one of those people that somehow manages to absorb even more information than I attempt to. And those lyrics, like when we would talk through them, and I would often take them in a certain direction, like especially with the visuals. I know that we were sometimes kind of juxtaposing ideas or layering ideas on top of each other. And you'd be like, oh, that's actually about this, this, and this. And I'd be like, oh, damn. Like that is, like I do think you need to do like the footnoted version of the lyrics, because
I'm going to do that.
You feel me? Yes.
I'm going to do that. Yeah, I
there is a lot there. There's a lot there.
I couldn't agree with you more.
That's cool. Thank you. But yes, I think I like that idea. And I don't want to be like, hey, if anybody wants to check out my genius, but there is stuff I wanted people to like get, right? Like, I mean, there is stuff that I was like, there were specific stories. I'll bring up this one in particular, but the farm trader thing.
Yeah.
Where I was doing this thing about Vance snatching land, but that was truly what was on my mind when I wrote it. And so I was like, no, I kind of want to like hang a lantern on that. Like I want to make sure people go, wait, what did he just say? But no, that's been, so that's,
you got to look for the Easter egg in the video. There's a bit of an Easter egg there.
Yeah. You probably would have to have watched it a couple times to catch that one. But we wanted to have fun with that. And I do want to like talk about this last piece. And I guess it's all over this, is don't talk about it, be about it. And that's our how, right? It's the taking action part. We've been talking about that. tonight. And I think it is important. I mean, we'll talk about the video process when we wrap up, but I think it's important, like you point out, Mojo, that the doing sometimes is, I'm going to educate myself, which I know is a crazy idea right now in the world of social media, where people are instant experts on areas where you need to study for like a decade. They just
they do their own research, right?
They do their own research, and it's astounding to me. I'm like, are you really arguing with an oncologist right now? Like, this is fascinating.
The RFK syndrome.
Yeah, right. You know, you go like, this doesn't seem quite right. But yeah, I think that I lost my way there for a second when I went down there. But the time to learn it, the time, putting in the time to do it. And one thing I want to point out is sometimes you don't know that's what you're doing. And I do want to highlight, because you said something to me, Maisha, that helped me understand the project as we were landing the plane. You said, this is like Not Like Us.
I did say that.
And I spent a lot of time thinking about that. Rick's already heard this, because I was like, you know, and I spent, from the time of the original listening to Not Like Us, it's so fascinating to me that you said that, because from that time, and we're getting to be 2 years later now in May.
Wow.
I have studied that beef in the most in-depth way. Like, I have studied the lyrics. I have studied the politics of the whole thing. I have studied, what is this lawsuit about? I've done all the things. And it struck me that it really is, and I didn't do that part on purpose. But when I went back and watched like what my thinking was and why I thought that this song was going to be the right thing to do and all of that, it had a lot of that. And so I say all that to say, you might not know that you're preparing yourself for whatever it is. Like, I certainly wasn't like, ooh, I better get really knowledgeable and develop my philosophy around what's going on with Kendrick and Drake, because it's going to help me to figure out like what song I would write about MAGA. But just sort of like taking the next step, you know, there I was.
Because I think you showed up in it, and like we were talking about earlier, and just being present, not just being there, but being in it and actively paying attention to what your thoughts, your feelings, and what you already know to be true is.
Yeah. And seeing the Drake. I mean, it's so funny that you said Not Like Us, because I also seeing the Drake Trump, and you know, I've sort of like identified people in all these areas of life that I'm like, they're all the same guy. They are all the same guy. You guys seeing this? This is like crazy pattern recognition stuff. But like, it really made me go like, yeah, that's how you get at them, is you isolate them. And that was part of, I didn't think that when I wrote it, but after you said that, I was like, this could have easily been just like, F Donald Trump was like a song people were singing. But this wasn't that. This was me going like, you're real dependent on these people, aren't you? What if maybe they didn't support you so much anymore? Then what would you do? Yeah. And there was some of that energy to it. So you really helped me to go, oh, wait a minute. So anyway, I wanted to share that piece that sometimes the action you take, you don't know. Well, like you said, I've been writing stuff. I've been messing around in GarageBand. The work that you do, Rick, like we don't know, like, oh, and then obviously then Orlando's gonna call me and I'll pump out some video.
Never know. I mean, talking about like how you're educating yourself, like you never know where that stuff's gonna pay off. Right. I mean, when you told me like the comparison, I agreed with it 100%, and not because like they sound anything like each other, but it is, it's a presidential diss track, and like
it really is.
The density of the lyrics are on par. I think like it's a similar kind of thing where the more you pay attention, and I'm looking forward to when we get the full song out, because there is so much more there to dig into, And I also think that, I mean, it may seem like the way you phrase it is just like, why am I like looking into this beef? What am I learning? But you and I have a film background. How many times did you watch movies over and over and over again just to be like, oh, okay, so the camera's here and the edit is there and all these things. I mean, it's a different thing, but it's also the same thing,
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. You see the relationships.
You're learning, and what you said, and those guys, that guy is all the same. I mean, that's the biggest lesson right there. I mean, whether it's Drake or Trump or all these guys, like they just feed on that attention and the, you know, the sort of exoneration that they get from their sycophants that makes them continue in these horrible patterns, you know. And the best thing that we can do is just be like calling bullshit on it, you know, as much as possible.
Hey, look at this guy's a clown. Like just yelling that out is such a like important.
He's got no clothes. The emperor has
I always
no clothes.
say though, I always say, I wonder what stories they're telling themselves though, because that's what I'm interested in.
Oh, that's interesting.
Are they really saying like I'm an asshole? Is that how they show up? They feel okay about that? What story are they saying to themselves to make this all okay for them?
I've wondered that. I tend to think they see the world like they're so first person, whatever main character, whatever you want to say in their story, that to them it's like. I actually do think Trump thinks that anyone who asks him a difficult question is a bad person.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
I think that's like I personally would find that an insane. But like
I would love to ask him, who do you think you are though? Not like who do you think you are, but like how would you describe yourself? What kind of person do you say?
And it's funny that we're making the comparison with Trump and Drake. I know we have a few more minutes, but I don't think there's a good answer to that. And if you listen to the tracks between Kendrick, especially going toward Drake, Euphoria specifically, now I'm really showing off that I really did study stuff. But seriously, there's a lot of there's no there there. Right. There's a lot of there's no there. You better. He even tells him at one point in Meet the Grahams. He says you need to get rid of that. You need to strip down that ego. You need some ayahuasca.
Mm.
I'm like, he just recommended a spiritual journey to this guy in the middle of it. Like, what is going on? But I think that's right. I think like he was like, there's no there with you. You're this is all facade.
Yeah.
And I think that's the truth with Trump. I mean, think about the fact, push everything else aside. Someone wins a Nobel Prize and says, here, take it. I just don't think I have a single friend who'd be like, yeah, cool. Now I have a Nobel Prize. Like that is crazy. Dude, no, you don't. Like if some person hands me their Emmy, I don't have an Emmy. I physically am holding an Emmy, but I don't have it. Like, what are you doing?
Well, and the look on his face when he gets the Nobel Prize and when he gets the FIFA award, and that's why we put like flashes of that in the video, is like he looks like a 12-year-old. He looks like a 12-year-old who like bitched and complained until he finally got ice cream and is just so proud of himself for finally getting ice cream.
Right. Regardless of, like, no, never mind. I ruined everybody's day. Never mind, mom, whatever. Everybody, like, but I got my ice cream. So
yeah. There's no solemn nature to it. There's like no like appreciation for what this even really is. No. I mean, he's just like grinning from ear to ear, like it's shit eating, you know. I mean, it's just so.
But I think there's a lot of that. I think that whether it's Drake or it's Trump or I pointed to some other people, I think just that brand of person. I think we one of the things we can learn from this. I hope we'll learn from this. I'm not confident we'll learn it, but maybe if some of us learn it, we can is that's what we've got to be looking out for.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like that's the actual problematic element. Because there's some Dems who I'm like, you got some of that to you too. I'm not saying like
for sure.
Your politics may be such that you know I can work around it. But and I think we should be looking for people who I'm not, character count sounds so corny, but it does.
Yeah. If we've learned anything, I mean, all the things that we're suddenly discovering, like, oh, that wasn't a law. Like that was just something that presidents and past legislators did because they were nice and they had a sense of decorum around what they were doing. I mean, it's like every day. I mean, there was the comedian Josh Johnson.
I love him.
A great take the other day where he's like, there's a lot of conversation about what's legal and not enough conversation about what's moral, And that's where we're at.
Yes.
I mean,
exactly right.
Just because you legally can do it, because you can legally be a horrible human being, it's not right. Yeah.
And I think I guess because of the topic and all, I will say this about it all. And we're gonna head over to the after party. Let me do this right now while I'm thinking about it because I promise I'm gonna get this logo up on the screen, and that way folks can join us. But while I'm doing that, I think it's also incredibly important that we don't, I think everybody want to work together now, right? And saying like, oh, okay, like people can learn and whatever. I think we could lose a lot of these really valuable lessons. And doing things like saying, hey, that's not right. And and having that be a legitimate conversation for people to have. Like, I almost feel like we're in a place societally, and I don't just mean here, but I mean, we live in a country where there's a saying, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. That is quite a description of your culture.
Yeah, that is.
And I think we gotta have some conversations about like, but that's not right.
Yeah.
Like we have to be, we may not agree on what's right, but I feel like right now we're almost in a place where that's right or wrong is sort of like tossed aside.
I think we're seeing like the lack of conversation again, like in just incredibly graphic form, where everything becomes like a shouting match so quickly. And people are just dismissing. I mean, you look at like the jump to judgment over so many of the things. The people that were killed in Minneapolis immediately branded as like terrorists or other things. Like, and that's like the extreme example, but it happens in so many small ways where before anybody even takes a chance to find out, they're making all these assumptions and they're getting mad at each other. When we really, like you said, we need to have the conversation. Like, let's have the conversation.
I just don't see how we make it without it. I just don't see it. But Agreed. DJ Q Boogie's gonna be waiting on us, and I do want to get over there. Rick, I don't know if you're able to join us. Obviously, you're not gonna be able to.
I got to jump. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I thought so. But I'm really glad you were here, and I'm hoping that we'll have some more collaborations and some more reasons.
We will.
Have you on. I mean, great conversation.
Send me whatever. Just text me a bunch of lyrics, and we'll have another shot.
We'll just go for it. Exactly.
We'll have a dissection conversation. We need to dissect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well,
thank you guys so much. This was a pleasure.
Absolutely, Rick. Thanks a lot. Maisha will make our Black Russians in the party.
It's all right, guys. All right.
Take it easy.
Later.
Bye.
All right, let's go and jump on over there.
All right.